Okay, cool. 3. Oh, it counts down and everything. All right. I'm Megan Munsell here with Victoria Marie Munsell on our first episode of Between Two Uprights.
You brought it back.
I did. We've come full circle.
That's funny.
I know. I just thought of that just now. Okay, so we've been working on our YouTube channel. By working on, I mean we got 3 videos up. So we wanted to start. I don't know if it's a podcast yet. I don't know if it's just an interview segment. See how it turns out. We got this audio equipment. We're mostly making this video to test it. So humor us if it sounds awful. Sorry.
We tried.
We're doing our best.
Yep.
The old college try.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna interview Vicky. Get to know Vicky a little bit more, and probably won't see her again because she's gonna help us with audio in the future.
Yeah. More of a behind the scenes kind of gal.
Yeah, we all have our perks.
This is my least favorite part.
Yeah. Okay, so Vicky, I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a training spouse / competition spouse.
It's more stressful than maybe people would think sometimes. Sometimes it's really awesome just to, be able to see your successes and, just watching you.
Not me, but the person you're supporting. Because, I think every,
Yeah. Everybody's got, obviously, a different spouse that they're supporting, but, there's just a lot that goes into that kind of focus and, singular drive,
as an athlete? Or
as an athlete. And then, because there's only so many hours in the day, it's you have to make sure you sleep enough. You have to make sure that you're eating well. You have to make sure that you prioritize the time that you're training with, your other responsibilities, job, family, etc. And, as much as I can take off your plate, the better that you can do.
Mm-hmm. Well, what kind of things are those? Obviously I know them, but I think every single time you see somebody, say, oh, I want to thank everyone who helps me, everyone's story is a little bit different, but you kind of wonder, what does that even mean? What are those people doing for them that allow them to be better at whatever it is they're doing?
Yeah. I would say meal prepping is definitely a big part. I guess trying to be as on a schedule as possible.
With food?
With food and sleeping and everything else. And, even with your training, helping you to stay on time with everything, loading your weights helps a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have you load my weights as much as I do, but we'll call that, whatever.
I think it helps a lot. It saves time, every minute that you can kind of move forward and not expend energy that is wasted, is helpful. Your qualifiers are probably the most stressful.
For both of us.
Yeah. Any sort of qualifier, there's always a ton of rules that you have to make sure that you follow. And as an athlete, it's you're already stressed about the workout, so you don't even want to think about all the external factors. And so I just try to take as much of the burden off of that aspect as possible. And sometimes I admittedly get way too stressed out about it, but I feel over the years we've done a lot better with that aspect, and we've got a system going, and it's been a lot of qualifiers for sure.
Probably more than it should have been. We were talking yesterday, or the other day, I posted a throwback Thursday video, I guess it was 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how awful your videography was of that competition and how far you've come.
That's true. Yes, training spouse also is required to take videos of said competitions. So
yeah, because that competition, every single video was from the back.
Mm-hmm.
Which now, if you would have if I go to a big competition, every single video is from the back, I'd be livid.
Right.
You ruined my Instagram game. my
Sometimes you can't help it depending on where you are in the heat or the lane or whatever. But
yeah.
you know,
Do you throw bows sometimes?
I try to stake out my spot early on, like with Can West.
Yeah.
Tried to get up front as quickly as I could.
Get the footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And horizontal versus vertical videos.
Yeah, that was. We've had way too many fights about that. But now with Instagram stories, a lot of times you want vertical, and I always got to ask no.
That's true.
You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can always zoom in a little bit, but it's never the same.
It's not. You're right. She learned. She picked up. So we talked a little bit about nutrition. So you do all my meal prepping for me.
Yeah.
And you manage all my qualifiers for me. You read all the rules. Count all my reps.
Yeah.
Video.
Oh, yeah, counting reps, that's a big one.
Yeah. And video all of my qualifiers for me. Now we do 2 videos. Whenever possible.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yep.
Have we ever had an issue where we needed a second video?
Like, needed to get the backup?
Yeah.
There was that one time you deleted your qualifier, but I wasn't there to have a second video. Luckily, it was a front, 2-rep max front squat.
It was a 3-rep max front squat.
Which, if anyone knows Megan, that's a pretty easy qualifier for her. So,
yeah.
Sure enough, she just redid that and still won. But
I did. It was a 3-rep max front squat. It was a Can West qualifier, 2019.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good score. I was pretty satisfied, and I deleted my own video.
Yep.
And I had to redo it. Oh man.
That was crazy.
That was awful.
Yeah. Erased your phone willy-nilly.
I did erase. I erased the whole phone. You're right.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, live and learn.
And yeah. So now we have 2 videos.
Yep. So, I mean, now, like, more recently, I'll try to take a lunch to come over to count your reps and use my phone as a second video, just in case.
Yeah.
You know, you never know if one will stop or if you forgot one and not in airplane mode, someone calls or whatever. Luckily, we're not that popular, but I don't get a lot of calls. But you never know if you get a spam call or something.
There's a setting where you can decline those automatically.
Yeah, but...
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every qualifier, Vicky takes her lunch break to drive across town and count my reps.
Yep.
Dedication. What else? What else does it take?
What else are we missing? Travel stuff. So
Yeah.
trying to organize the travel. Like, I mean, some people might like to do that on their own, but I don't think you really like...
Organized traveling arrangements?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. So I always am looking for, like, the best deals on flights and hotels and cars, whatever.
Rentals. We always rent a car.
Yeah. I mean, there's, especially for a competition, there's just, like, you never want to be in a point where you really need something and, like, now you're just trapped or stuck with Uber or whatever. It's not, to us, it's not worth the $150 difference or whatever. Yeah. Someone else going outside.
Weird. But I don't see anything. Anyway, yeah. So Vicky handles all travel, all food,
Yeah.
all qualifier logistics.
Yeah.
I do the fitnessing.
Yeah. Logistics is kind of more of my specialty in life in general, so.
Yeah. Obviously Instagram photographer.
It's probably my least skilled job, but I still try.
You do your best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Megan will edit them. That's her specialty.
Yeah.
So if I can just take as much footage as humanly possible, hence the YouTube videos, she'll edit it together and make it look nicer.
That's true. That's true.
So now she's got a full SD card because of all the videos I take. And they're not all useful, but you can delete them.
Yeah. It's whatever. What else? Anything else? Real life.
Yeah.
Outside of fitness. You also handle all the logistics of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
bills and stuff and cleaning and I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge part of
Getting our car shit fixed and upgraded and
basically
whatever.
all of the logistics of our real life.
Yeah.
That I would say I think it'd be a cop out to be like, oh, I don't have time for it, but I don't make time for it.
Yeah. I think there's still like there's like a mental capacity that you want to have for your training and your your fitness and you think like very intensely about things and like you're very easily distracted if you like think of something that's like really important. So if you had to focus on all those other things, I just don't think your training would be as focused.
Yeah. Well, when you are training and you're thinking about something that's really important in life, right?
Yeah.
Your job or, sometimes I'm like, oh, I left this project open at work. Then, that can be super derailing in training. Because you're like, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be focused on that. And, it can be really derailing.
Yeah. It's true.
So Vicky handles basically everything in our real lives so that all I have to worry about is picking up weights and putting them back down.
True. Our neighbor's outside.
Yeah.
We got Lily out there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have her on a podcast at some point.
Yeah, she is an adaptive athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know her whole backstory, but it would be super cool to interview her and maybe figure out what.
We finally met her like 3 weeks ago.
It's true.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. We knew she was there.
Yeah.
Living in the shadows.
True.
Yeah. But she's a super cool lady. She lives across the alley. Obviously, we're in our home gym.
Yes.
Which, based on coronavirus, have been getting a lot of attention lately. Which I'm not mad about, but I'm pretty proud. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, we did quite a bit right at the beginning, though. I mean, everybody saw the end product, but they haven't seen all the befores and the walls. Repainting that took a long time. Yeah. But definitely was worth it. I think the black was a good idea, and I
like how it turned out.
I'm glad that you decided on that.
Yeah, I think it turned out. I mean, the drywall's not in like super great shape, so what is what it is. Okay, so you like being training spouse, or you wish you had a new life?
I do like this life.
That's funny. Anyways, yeah, I mean, we talk, privately sometimes about me taking on more logistical things in our life, but I mean, I think,
I mean, that's not to say that you don't do anything.
I don't. I don't do anything. I
mean,
am training or laying on the couch eating ice cream. I'm just kidding. I do a lot of maintenance around the house.
Yeah. But I think also like your knowledge of things, like you can delegate things to me.
Touche.
Yeah. So like, I mean, you've had a lot of life experience that I haven't had, so you can more properly delegate something, and I can take like the longer time period of what that would really mean, but you already know what I need to do.
Yeah, I just give you projects and you do them. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean, not even projects, I guess, but just like other things, like making a list for me to tackle, like.
Kind of makes me sound like an asshole.
Well, I sometimes I just don't organize things very well. Like we've talked about things like, oh, we'll need to, get a quote on this or.
Oh, right. Like, right.
And just
so
like
the fence.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we need to get a new fence.
Yeah.
You need to contact this person, and get some estimates, and and then we'll circle back.
Yeah. It's like, of course you could call, like, you're not unable to call somebody, but it's just like the time.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody likes calling other strangers, but
we all have skills, Vic.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about you in your life.
Okay.
Who are you?
Who am I?
I don't know. Victoria Marie Rowe.
Yeah.
It's your maiden name.
Maiden name Rowe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spell it.
Rheault.
Rowe.
Yep.
And you have a job?
Yes.
What's your job?
I work at Harman Professional. They're owned by Samsung. I fix professional audio equipment like mixers, PAs, microphones like
AKG.
AKG,
Shout out to AKG.
things like that. Pretty good job.
What's like pro audio?
Pro audio would be more like for a professional, so like a
Studio?
concert hall, studio. I mean, basically anything that's going to be used for professional use, like making money off of it, or even churches.
Houses of worship.
Yeah, that's a more politically correct because not everything's at church.
That's true.
But yeah, so I mean, like, consumer stuff would be more like the boombox speakers and
We got
stuff
one?
like that.
Shout out to JBL?
Still Harman, but just a different department.
Gotcha. Do you think that like pro audio and consumer audio is blending because of all the like gig
Yeah.
stuff?
For sure.
Like, do you have a lot of
I mean,
people...
like, this would probably be prosumer, is what they call it.
Prosumer.
Mm-hmm.
So, like... I can't think of a great example. But,
Yeah.
but like, your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Your sister is a musician.
Yep.
It's not her full-time job. It's like
No.
a side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
So she would be a prosumer.
Yep.
Prosumer musician.
Yeah, so it's like somewhere in between. So, you know, you're trying to get off the ground there, but you're not going to spend, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a full set of gear. So you want to have something that works enough for what you're trying to do until you can spend more money. Whereas, like, the professional stuff is, I mean, I would just say the quality of it is better for, like, long-term use.
Yeah. Of what?
Like, so if you got a professional JBL speaker,
Right,
you're
right.
intending to have that for 10, 20, 30 years.
Okay.
Whereas, like, if you got, like, a consumer-based thing...
30 years? That's the life expectancy?
I mean, you could, yeah. It just depends on if you kept it outside or how often you use it. I mean, people keep stuff for a long time. Like, mics, you could have those for a long time. Like, people still have 30, 40-year-old mics.
40-year-old mics?
Probably even older. You just got to be really gentle with them.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, good to know. I know a lot of times you talk to me about it, and I'm just like, oh, cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a niche thing, so it's not something that I like. I mean, especially around our fitness friends, it's not like something you can talk.
Or even really around our tech friends. I feel like they're not like all of our friends from Apple.
Yeah, like something like this where like this mic is useful for like this podcast and things like that. Like people could kind of relate to that, but like talking about like professional mixers and line array speakers and stuff like that, people are just like, okay, cool. Like I see that in venues, but I don't really know what that means.
It's not relevant to them, so there's no correlation.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
I got into music pretty early on. My sister was into music first. She played clarinet in school, and then I started playing clarinet, and as I was in school, met a lot of people, started playing guitar. My school had a recording program, so I started doing that and got really
high
into
school?
it. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you're from?
I'm from Bowie, Maryland. Went to school in Greenbelt, Maryland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And was it a charter school or like a magnet?
Science and tech is what they called it.
Is that a magnet school? Or like a STEM? Or is it like a STEM school? Is that a thing now? I don't know.
So it's the same concept. Like, so I wasn't in that district, if you want to call it that, I guess. Like, my high school would have been Bowie High School.
Gotcha.
Eleanor Roosevelt High School, I tested into the science and tech program so I could still go there even though I wasn't.
It's like a STEM school.
Yeah.
Or a magnet school.
Yeah.
Not, a charter is like a whole nother financial thing, but.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you tested in the school because you wanted to go to the recording program?
No, just, actually, Catherine had gone there, my sister. Even Anita went there. My other sister, both older. And a lot of my friends from my middle school were also going there. And
Gotcha.
Bowie High was still a decent school. But just in general, it was the best school in the county to go to.
Best school in the county. Best school, and where I grew up, the best school in the county would represent probably a livestock distinction. Like, we have the largest cows. We're the best school in the county.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Ours not quite the same.
Yeah.
But
y'all didn't even have cows at your school.
we did not. No.
So you go to the school, they have a recording program at your high school, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And you did that, and then you decided you wanted to go to college for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so auditioned at different schools.
It's kind of cool.
Yep.
You auditioned. Okay, I have a question.
Auditioned on guitar.
Oh, okay. That was my
They did, they said you could, like, send in a demo CD of, like, recordings that you did. But,
yeah. And you just submit, like, Blink 182, and you're like, I'm on this. Recording credit.
Definitely not like that, but, like, for school, we would record the live performances there, so then you could submit that, or any, like, in-studio recordings that we did.
Yeah, that's fair. Mm-hmm. And so you go to college for that.
Yep. Do 4 years for that. Like,
what's the actual degree?
Music production and technology.
Okay.
So
and
it's
then
Bachelor of Arts.
And then after that, you go to Apple?
Mm-hmm.
Like, immediately? Was there, like, a gap?
Maybe, like, a couple months.
Okay. And you go work at Apple.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Yeah.
Super
I mean...
geeky, obviously.
Yeah. In college, that was the first time I had a Mac, and then got really into Macs there.
Yeah.
One of my professors was also very geeky with Mac and taught me a lot of technical stuff with Mac, too. So then... just a second passion, I guess, other than music.
16 computers.
Yeah. It's just specifically Macintosh machines. Yeah.
Which now are Apple machines.
Yes.
Well, are they still called Macintosh? No, it's...
I mean, they're MacBooks. It's still Macintosh. Whatever. Same.
Something I want to look up now, because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Jamie, pull it up.
You just want to prove me wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. I just am curious whether or not, like, MacBook is still part of the Macintosh family, or it's just co-branding. Birds.
Yeah. It's the fun part about being in the garage. It's probably not the best podcast spot, but...
I'm so glad that I put the dogs inside. Because they would be barking at the birds.
This is true.
We can hear them chirping, and that's cool, but the barking would drive me insane.
People still would love to see dogs, though.
We can bring them out another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. They're just wild. They're not wild.
They're just squirrely.
Yeah. Neurotic. Yeah. I mean, they're small dogs, so.
Yeah.
So, you go to work at Apple. You get more into the tech side. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know the story.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, going to Apple, the whole goal is to be the person fixing computers, a.k.a.
a genius. Dun, dun, dun.
And so it took me about a year to get there, but got that role and hung in there for a while.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 6 years.
About.
Yeah. We both were geniuses before moving to Texas.
And after moving to Texas.
Yep.
Yep.
And stayed there for another couple years.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I was there 3. You were there 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. G9.
Yep.
Yeah, our routes to geniusness were much different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely didn't start at Apple anticipating being a genius.
Yeah.
But, you know what's actually really funny was, do you remember when you used to help me with my iTunes library?
Yeah. iTunes libraries, nobody even has those anymore.
I know.
It's so funny. I was, like, really into iTunes Match at the time.
Yeah.
And that was, like, the coolest thing to me. And now it's, like, literally no one...
It doesn't... It's not even a thing.
Yeah.
But what's funny is I had no tech experience whatsoever when I started at Apple. None. Other than getting viruses off my PC from pirating music in college. And I barely had even had a Mac. And started at Apple as, like, thinking I wanted to get into, like, the sales side of it. Because I previously had I was selling real estate. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
So I was selling real estate and doing corporate stuff that way.
Yeah.
And got it in at Apple, wanted to do more of, like, the corporate sales was, like, my big goal. Realized, that's not, I don't think this is going to play like I think it is. I want to make more money. I'll go into tech. And then I met you.
Yeah.
Who was already really, like, into the nitty-gritty of all the software stuff. And I was like, yeah. Will you help me with my iTunes library?
I was like, sure, of course.
And you're like, yeah. Well, in hindsight, now, can you imagine somebody being like, hey, can you help me sort my iTunes library?
Yeah, and then you're just immediately like,
now,
eye roll.
Yeah. Now, I had a customer that was like looking to remove duplicates, audio duplicates or something. Oh, Joseph. Hope he's not watching. He has I guess, like 100 terabytes of video files. And they're duplicated all around, and he's like, I really want help resorting them. And that was my instant reaction. I was like, that's going to be
Yeah.
what a nightmare.
Video files, that's
But
even worse.
you thought we were homies, and you were going to help with my iTunes library.
Yep.
Cool. That goes into how are we related? Because we have the same last name. We're obviously sisters. We're married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully people got that from the training spouse section. But
Maybe not. You know.
yeah.
Just want to throw it out there. Just make
Yeah.
it crystal
Legally
clear.
married. It is legal
In the
across
state of Texas.
the United States.
Yeah.
Stop moving the thing.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So we're married.
Yes.
When did we get married?
September 2015.
91915.
Yep.
Yeah. We got married September 2015. Where?
Technically here in our house.
Yeah, we legally got married here in our home. What was it? Just earlier that month.
I think so.
Maybe August.
Maybe it was August. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
I don't know. We had like a housewarming party because we just bought the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a ceremony
Mm-hmm.
in
Laurel, Maryland.
Laurel, Maryland.
Yeah.
Cute little house in Laurel, Maryland. And yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We've been married ever since.
Yeah.
No
We've
break.
been married ever since.
No breaks.
Yeah.
No disruptions in that timeline.
Nope.
That's funny. Here we are.
Yeah.
Who knew? It's funny because we met through a mutual friend,
Mm-hmm.
Hannah. Now more.
Yep.
Hannah Abrams at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we were very different people than we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And we were opposites of each other and completely incompatible in every way.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Especially on paper.
Yeah. On paper.
Yeah.
If you describe Vicky,
Yeah.
you describe Megan.
Yeah.
You're like, these things do not coincide.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yep.
I think we've asked Hannah about it
Yeah.
and been like, did you see this coming? Hannah's like,
No.
no.
I mean, I don't even think anybody would have seen this coming just in our lifestyle.
How do you mean?
I mean, I never worked out. I still don't love working out, but I mean, I've grown more fond of it. And
Tolerate.
yeah. And I mean, at the time, you were drinking very heavily.
It's true.
And, we've just really grown into our own. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've made 180-degree turns from who we were
Yeah.
independently
Mm-hmm.
and who we even were when, we met each other
Right.
as a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Probably
We were
good.
just talking about that yesterday. Just like growing up and,
Growing together.
yeah, growing together.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Life is weird.
Yeah. Just thankful that we grew together.
Yeah, but it easily could go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
We watch a lot of Biggest Loser.
Mm.
Right? And people sometimes, through weight loss journeys,
Yeah.
grow apart from their spouse as their priorities change.
Mm-hmm. Or sometimes their spouse, grows with them and now their spouse loses the weight too, and that's always nice.
Right, that's more like us.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
We've grown in the same direction, and
Mm-hmm.
luckily,
Yeah.
you now tolerate exercise.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom actually sent me a video yesterday of a compilation that her phone put together. The iPhone will be like, oh,
Yeah.
these are your memories, whatever.
Yeah.
So I have one of me, and it's just I wasn't that much heavier, but it's you just your face is more puffy,
Bloated,
and
yeah.
just I wasn't eating as healthy and definitely wasn't exercising. And you just you never notice at the time because you don't even know what the healthy version of you is.
Right.
And then now that
I
you're
think
here,
I knew it wasn't where I was at, but I didn't care to really
Yeah.
get there.
yeah, it's just crazy. to
Yeah.
see.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because people all the time now only know us like this.
Right. especially because we moved to Texas, and it was pretty quickly after moving to Texas that you started CrossFit.
Yeah.
Which obviously started the whole journey of training and eating better and all of that.
Yeah.
So then people in Maryland know us in a certain way, and then people in Texas know us a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's just funny to coincide.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are.
Yep.
What else do we want to talk about? Oh, businesses we have together?
Yeah. Winners win.
Yes. Winners win.
Yeah.
What? Well, I think we've been trying to talk about winners win a little bit more so recently than before. Before it was like a low-key thing. Yeah. Now we're really trying to do... I think we're trying to do big stuff.
Yeah. I mean, just trying to do our best with it, you know? Just,
yeah.
You know, we really want to be able to help more athletes get where...
they want to go.
Yeah. And
exactly.
Without as much of a financial barrier as they might already have. And so we just try to donate our time.
How much do you think how much do you think it costs to travel to a national level meet? You just said you handle all the logistics of our travel. For one person, like if you were going to travel alone, like if you're a college kid, you qualify for a national meet, AO finals is usually people's first national meet. Or even universities, I guess, right? How much do you think it costs for one person to travel to AO finals?
I'd say probably account for at least $200 round trip flight.
Yep.
Hotel, if you were by yourself.
Yeah.
Probably at least $100 a night.
So let's say 2 nights.
Yeah.
So $200.
Yeah.
Plus $200, $400.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you could rent a car or just Uber, but in general, transportation costs, whether you're like...
let's say Uber.
Yeah, maybe $100.
Okay, we're at $500.
Yeah. At least.
Plus registration.
Yeah, registration's
$100.
Another $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And food? $100.
Yeah.
So it's like $600.
Mm-hmm.
At least. To go to AO finals.
Mm-hmm.
And $600 for a college kid or somebody who's a full-time coach or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money.
Yep. For sure. I mean, for the two of us, it's usually probably $1,000.
Yeah. Per competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know.
Maybe not quite that much. It just depends. But we usually stay at least 3 nights.
Yeah.
So.
Well, especially if it's weightlifting, because I always have a weight cut. Mm-hmm. It's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. But then CrossFit competitions are that long.
Yeah,
so that's also a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then...
so, we started Winners Win a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
To try to help folks raise money for meets.
Mm-hmm.
So that can help offset the cost of competing.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you spend 2 years trying to qualify for AO finals, you qualify for AO finals, you had a big total local meet, you get to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have friends who are our age with full-time jobs that still aren't sure they're going to go to nationals or aren't sure they're going to go to whatever for financial reasons.
Mm-hmm.
In a magical world, that's not on the table. They work hard, they qualify, they go.
Right.
That's cool. So what do you do with Winners Win?
I help a lot with the designs, the logistics of printing our shirts and coordinating pricing and making sure we make enough profit for the athletes,
mm-hmm.
And then shipping everything out,
mm-hmm.
making sure that's all tracked and in the books and getting the payment out.
What do I do then? It sounds like everything.
Well, you definitely help with the design as well. So usually it's...
I'm an ideas kind of gal.
Yeah. In case y'all haven't noticed, but...
yeah.
Yeah, so Megan usually will think of an idea of a design because I'm not creative in that regard. So I can try to... I've learned Illustrator over the years to be able to try to help make these designs possible.
Yeah.
With your ideas.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
But you also have a lot of, like, athletes in your network, so you're, like, I mean, you definitely run the social media. I'm not as good at that part, so, yeah. You do all the editing of films and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. We have a shirt we just did with Blue Wave
Mm-hmm.
The coronavirus shirt. We have another shirt we're doing with PFP Barbell. Ketchup shirt.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly, but fun for them. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
I did want to talk briefly about CrossFit, the sport of CrossFit.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't really have any other friends to interview about the sport of CrossFit. And I think it's...
Yeah. I mean, I love CrossFit.
As a sport. The sport of fitness.
Oh, yeah. And that's... we didn't talk about that with, like, the training spouse thing, too. But I feel like sometimes I have to, like, separate myself from, like, the sport fan versus, like, needing to focus on, like, what's going on, too. Because, like, sometimes when you're at a competition, like, I'm a fan of the sport, so I really want to just, like, watch and enjoy and have fun. But, like, really we're there for you to do your best.
Yes, we've gotten into some altercations because, like, let's say the Open announcement happens. We watch the Open announcement, and whatever CrossFit Games athlete gets 1 million reps, and Vicky's like, oh, you could probably, or you should probably get XYZ, some ludicrous amount. And I'm like, that's, you can't watch a professional athlete and compare me to a professional athlete. I mean, we're going to use that as a guide and strategy sort of thing, but you can't be like, oh, your score is not good because you didn't tie Annie Thorsdottir.
Right.
Which, it's like, you have to kind of run your own race outside of the sport, outside of the expectation of matching a professional athlete.
I think it's tough because it's like, you could read a workout and we're probably more likely to guess your score before somebody else does it, like Annie Thorsdottir, and then shows what's possible. And then you feel like, well, maybe my estimate was way off. When in actuality, it's just like, no, it's just, that's where we're at. And so, yeah, the Open's tough, obviously. I mean, it's so many people in the game there, so. But anyway, that's a whole nother discussion, I guess.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen with the games? Do you think it's going to get canceled?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think the teams are going to happen. I just don't see how that's possible.
When are they going to announce it? Do you think they should have announced it when they announced no masters and age group? When they announced no age group athletes, should they have announced no teams?
I mean, if they really think that it's not possible, then yeah, I think they should have announced it. I think the thing right now is that if they actually plan to have it on the date that is currently set, then they should have announced it. Because right now, I mean, anybody that, like, if coronavirus wasn't going on, you would have had your flights already booked or, like, trying to make that work. But for them to, like, be in limbo and then, you know, say sorry, like, it's not fair to those athletes. And obviously a lot of the teams are international teams, and so that's a whole thing. I mean, at this point, it's really the CrossFit Games of America. That's probably what's going to happen.
Plus Tia.
Yeah. Well, anybody that's, like, physically in the U.S.
Right.
Plus Tia and Sam, I guess.
I think Sam's here,
yeah.
Based off Instagram.
Which, I mean, like, as a spectator and a fan of the sport, I want something to happen regardless. I don't necessarily, like, I obviously feel for all the international athletes that maybe can't come through, and I feel like there's got to be some sort of asterisk on the game's title because...
You think they should have it?
If it's like 10 for each?
Yeah. You think it's fair?
If at that point there's a way to make it happen, I just feel like it would be fair to have some sort of competition. I mean, I don't know.
Do you think that person's the fittest on earth?
That's what I'm saying. I think that there should be an asterisk. Like, I feel like it should just be like the pseudo CrossFit Games of 2020, not like you're the fittest on earth.
Right.
Because, like, you could still feasibly, like, I mean, if they had, I mean, either 10 women, 10 men, or 20 women, 20 men, and paid, like, you had a stream that I had to pay for, I would buy it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of CrossFitters would pay to watch.
Everybody would.
Yeah. And so I'm like, they could still make some money off of it and give these athletes...
But they're not going to stream it. Well, the stream is paid for by Reebok. I read the contract.
Okay.
So Reebok has $100,000 to spend on the stream. I don't know if the stream would cost more than $100,000.
Okay, but I mean, like, could they still charge for the stream even if Reebok's paying for...
Seems kind of messed up.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like...
You could maybe have a parallel stream, right?
Sure.
Like, because I don't know how...
I mean, obviously that's kind of how last year did, right? They had, like...
Oh, was it Instagram?
Well, last year they had, like...
The Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue
right.
and all the other...
True. So, like, Reebok can provide a stream that's free. You can pay for supplementary streams. You'd still pay even if there was a free one? I don't know. That's a tangent.
Yeah.
Who cares? You think it's going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it would, like, I would enjoy it if it did. Tell me where you're at. I think you have a lot of opinions on this.
Well, I read the Reebok contract.
Yeah, I didn't read it, so there might be more that I don't know.
I sent you my Cliffs Notes.
Yeah.
With links and page numbers.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to talk about it. That's fine. Besides me, and now you, and I set up this situation so I could talk about it. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Governor Newsom's going to shut that down. If they can have it as a private event and set it up in a way that the state cannot become involved, secondary to state regulations, I could see that an event would happen under those circumstances. But it's also kind of like, what's the motivation? Just to support the community? Is it to support Reebok? Does it have to do with financial gains? Does it have to do with, what's the motivation here? Mm-hmm. Is it, I mean, I would put it on par with the Rogue Invitational. Maybe even less than that, right? Secondary to the streaming Rogue Invitational because of all the international athletes that can't come. Mm-hmm. A woman, an American woman, hasn't won the CrossFit Games since when? Katie Henniger? At the ranch?
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of...
Right. So is it really the fittest woman on earth? Well, I mean, Tia's going to be there again. But now the podium is like just... It's like a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't the CrossFit Games...
And now no one can train.
Right. But it's okay, like... I mean, they also have that kid that's trying to get all the age group people together.
It's true.
They're not technically crowning the fittest teen on earth.
No.
But...
They're going to go throw down.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think would be the equivalent.
Right. And so I'm saying that I would love to watch a throwdown of the fittest athletes that are able to come.
Okay. That's fair.
And that's just a selfish wanting to watch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do I think that it's right? I don't know.
You think it's dangerous for the athletes?
I mean, they really would have to be able to test everybody on, like, all of the athletes, the entire crew. Like, you can't bring anybody. Like, you wouldn't be able to bring your family or anything. So it's like...
Yeah, look what just happened with UFC. I've been sitting on this for a couple of seconds. The Dana White strategized this entire scenario so they could have the UFC card. Mm-hmm. They all arrive in Florida for the fight. Fighter tests positive for coronavirus. Fight's called off. Mm-hmm. What happens? They fly all the way there, right? Everyone's quarantined, blah, 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 blah. And then a couple of people test positive for coronavirus. What do? Do you keep doing it? Like, do you just pull those athletes? I mean...
Yeah, I mean... I don't know. I guess... How long does it take to get a test result? And could they self-quarantine?
2 weeks? It would be like a 14-day... Well, because there's a 14-day incubation period.
Right, but, like, okay, let's say... Let's say that it's 10 men, 10 women. They fly into California. Everybody gets a test, and then they're immediately put into a hotel room.
For 2 weeks?
Not 2 weeks, but I'm saying, like, how long does it take to get a test result? Is it 2 weeks?
Oh, no, I think it's like... I think it kind of depends on the lab, but let's say 24 hours.
Okay. So then you would know, like, okay, let's say one out of the 20 people tested positive.
Yeah.
Well, now they can't compete, but everybody
Yeah.
else we know doesn't have coronavirus.
A lot of ifs.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because until there's a vaccine or anything, like, are we supposed to just stay trapped forever?
No.
So, like, at what point do we decide that it's worth the risk?
Of sports and events. Mm-hmm. Life has got to go on.
Yeah.
Right. But sports and events.
But yeah, I mean, I think, like, it's tough because, like we were talking about, I mean, the American economy is, like, very centered around entertainment and service.
Yeah.
And
I think that's our big. I think it's the biggest American export is entertainment.
Yep. And so that's literally the biggest thing hit with the coronavirus.
Touche.
Both of those things. And so it's like, what do we do? I mean, obviously, the fan part of it is the biggest spreader of coronavirus.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also kind of like you're considering, okay, if those athletes are willing to take the risk, let them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like signing a waiver to go skydiving.
Yeah.
You could die, but you signed a waiver.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's on those athletes. Like, that's a risk they're taking.
Yeah. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what, like, the legal, like, if you could have a waiver to say, if I get coronavirus, I'm not going to sue CrossFit or whatever.
You can have a waiver for anything.
I mean, like, I was also, like, seeing on the news about, like, jobs reopening up and what that would mean for, like, those employers. Like, if someone got coronavirus, would they not be able to, like, yeah, I mean, that's a whole different thing, I guess. But that's also not a short-term thing. Whereas the games would be a very isolated thing, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if you want to let the athletes participate, let them participate. Free will.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the whole games crew would have to have free will as well. At least, like, the crew could feasibly wear masks and whatnot more easily. Obviously the athletes can't and shouldn't.
Right.
Because that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Breathing and stuff.
So, I mean, like, I think the crew should also get tested. I don't even know how much tests would cost, and if you can buy tests, like, obviously that's, like, a whole thing, too.
Getting political.
Yeah. But then it's, like...
Accidentally political by talking about whether or not tests are available.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So, the UFC, obviously, is, like, a nice start to the sports thing because it's, like, literally...
Yeah.
So few people of the athletes.
Yeah, it's one-on-one.
But I mean, how many fights are on the card? Like, in total?
Let's say 10.
10 fights?
Let's say.
Okay, that's 20 people.
Yeah.
That's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, same
you
thing.
Fighting for him? Yeah, but you only have one ref. Like, the crew is much smaller.
Yeah. I mean, I think the crew of, like, just judging wouldn't even be that big. But
at least 10.
The streaming and all of that logistics, I feel like that's quite a bit more.
We'll call them and let them know that you're volunteering to do their audio.
Sure.
You'd do it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, you would. You'd be first sign up. And gyms are reopening here in Texas.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah? You think it's going to be like it was? It's just no way.
No.
There's no way it's going to be like it was. Maybe worse for a while, maybe better later on. I don't know.
Globo gyms, are those opening too, though? Or just, like, smaller gyms? Because I don't know if they can abide by the guidelines safely. I never got an email from LA Fitness, at least.
Nope. Or Destination.
Yeah. Their destination's pretty small, too, so...
But they're the same sort of guidelines, regulations as Globo gyms. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot to unpack, a lot to digest. We're still...
Birds.
We're at the beginning of the downward spiral here of, well, I guess we're on the up and up of the coronavirus. I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon, but Texas is reopening.
Yeah.
I think we're through the dirtiest part of the economic stuff. Mm-hmm. We'll see how Texas handles it. See how gyms handle it. Yeah, I don't think until like a year from now we're gonna really know like what all happened and sort through that. But here we are. We will sort back through the audio, see how it sounds. Maybe get headsets for next time.
Yeah.
Try to get some guests. If you want to be a guest on our show, or if you have a friend or know of somebody who wants to be a guest on our show, I have no shame in asking them. Put their name in the comments below. And we'll do this again. Had fun.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.